We're going to talk to Inspector Sheridan Hill from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Inspector, good morning and welcome this rainy Monday morning.
Thank you, Rishi. It is indeed, and we want to talk to motorists in Trinidad and Tobago about some tips that would assist them, ensure that they're safe on the roads. But before I do that, I just want to just go back to a point last week, a question you asked. How would I know? And it's a recurring question. And I just wanted to let Trinidad and Tobago know that part of the objective of this Media Ambassador Initiative is to inform, to educate the public. So a lot of the times people don't know what the law is, and we hope to fill that gap by by this initiative.
Yeah. And that is what we aim to do. Aim to inform people and let them know exactly what is happening.
So they stay on the right side of the law.
Exactly.
So as the rain is here.
Yes.
The rain is here.
It is horrible already.
Yeah, coming down the road this morning, I know you had to keep the windshield wiper on all the way down. So we just want to advise drivers of a few tips to be safe on the road. In addition to your normal safety checks on your vehicles, ensuring that the wheels are they're good and so on, and you have the liquids and so on. Just want to mention as well that to ensure that your windshield wipers are working, keep a safe distance away. In particular with heavy vehicles, to keep the windows from fogging up, you press that defogger button, or you can always turn the air conditioner on slightly, or just bring the windows down just a few centimeters, and just more or less crack the windows. Also, importantly, avoid puddles of water, because you have the whole issue of skidding and hydroplaning and all those issues. So you want to avoid that. Turn your lights on for visibility. Sometimes you're driving and the visibility is poor, so you turn your lights on.
As you mentioned that, fog lights in Trinidad, is it legal or not?
That I would have to get back to you on.
Because I heard people complain that we're not supposed to have fog lights, so I think it's an important question, especially as you mentioned, places.
Yeah, but I think even if, and I want to be on the side of caution, even if it's an issue and you turn your fog light on and rain is falling and you speak to the officers, we are considerate, we are human beings, and we always have safety in mind. So yeah, definitely. So you turn your lights on for visibility. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. And that is a practice. That is a practice that you should employ, whether or not the rain is falling. Avoid heavy braking when the roads are wet. And lastly, it's not so much a driving precaution in the rain, but if you don't have to drive in the rain, then you can always stay at home.
Exactly.
If you don't have to, I'm not telling you to stay away from work because of rain.
I was going to talk to Lisa, and Lisa, I can't make it tomorrow if rain is falling.
If you don't have to. But one thing I want to mention before I go, there's a perception out there that once the Venezuelans have registered, they automatically become immune from the law, and that is not the case.
Right.
They are not exempted from the law. The law applies to everyone.
Yeah.
Including
they
those.
will have to follow the rules of Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly.
I just want to go back to something that you mentioned. This morning I mentioned tires, and make sure that your tires on your vehicles are not smooth. Is there a fine attached if your tires are too smooth?
You can get a ticket for that.
You can get a ticket.
You can get a ticket for that too.
So
but one thing I keep mentioning here on the program, time and time again, we always think about the fines and the consequences. It's all about safety. Not just for you and the occupants of your vehicle, but for other road
But sometimes
users.
people don't take that into consideration, that safety, and only when they know that they have to pay a price for it, then they want to take some sort of action to correct it.
Well, we hope this program and others like this will change that attitude.
And hopefully they take some of the tips. And
I certainly hope so.
To work. Yeah, you mentioned the Venezuelan situation about all of them must be they must follow the law of Trinidad and Tobago. For those who were not able to register over that 2-week period, what is going to happen? People are still wanting to know.
All right. So as police officers, our function is to enforce the law. So if you entered the country illegally, which is something I spoke about some time ago, it's a crime. So if you enter the country illegally, I'm not saying if you enter the country illegally and you are registered, of course, police officers will, exercise their discretion and so on. You are registered and so on. But if you enter the country legally and you're not registered, then
there is
the law applies. The law applies, and we will enforce the law.
Yeah, the police officer himself, Inspector Sheridan Hill. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Lisa.
Yeah.
Therapy works.
Therapy works.